Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Now, today's first story comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit and is titled Am I the Arsehole for refusing to hang out less with my brothers because of my stepsister? I, 18 female, am the youngest of 4 siblings. I have 3 older brothers, Michael, 28 male, John, 27 male, and Chris, 25 male. Our mother passed away when I was 8, and since then, my father, 53 male, and my brothers have been quite protective of me. I had father-daughter date nights with my dad and movie nights with my brothers, among other things. I think that was their way of making sure I didn't feel lonely. Last year, my father got married to Melissa, 45 female. She, with her daughter Ashley, 18 female, moved in with us. I always got the sense that Ashley didn't like me. She would always talk to my dad and brothers, but she never talked to me. Whenever I tried to talk to her, she would answer curtly and then walk away. I never understood why or if I did something to her. But after a few weeks of trying to get along with her without success, I gave up. We were civil to each other and that was enough. My brothers were also on the fence about her. She keeps insisting to be invited to our movie nights, but she would always demand to see a movie she liked, even if none of us liked it. And she kept trying to cuddle with my brothers, which they find uncomfortable and weird because they don't really know her. Chris actually told her to knock it off because he didn't like that she was so touchy with him. Recently, I had my 18th birthday. It was fun and low-key and I got wonderful gifts. The next day, Ashley came to me and told me it was unfair that my brother's gifts to me were better than their gifts to her for her birthday last June. For context, my brothers each gave her a $200 gift card to different stores so she can buy what she liked, because they didn't really know her. They gave her gifts to be civil. My brothers got me a personalized perfume, a signed copy of an entire book series that I've been obsessed about lately, and a personalized planner with messages and quotes on each page. I will admit that they put more thought into my gifts, but I think it's fair since they don't really know her. But since then, Ashley started crying, saying that I always got everything and she got nothing. And she then demanded I stop hanging out with them, and said if I didn't hang out with my brother so much, then they would pay more attention to her. She also wanted me to tell them to treat her like they treated me, because she was also their sister now. I told her that I won't force my brothers to do something that they didn't like. She insisted that I call my brothers right that moment to tell them that I would hang out less with them and that they should get Ashley better gifts. I refused. Apparently she got her friends and cousins because I've been getting messages from them telling me I'm spoiled, a selfish kid, so I'm second guessing myself. So am I the arsehole? OP added an additional comment, giving some more information below that and said, "Hi, OP here, thank you to everyone who commented and messaged me. I really appreciate it. I can't reply to all the comments, but I just want to answer some of the questions that I've read. The most common one was that, where was my dad in all this? Before this incident, I did not tell my dad anything because I believed that there was nothing to tell. Ashley was curt with me, but I didn't expect her to immediately like me. And she did not bully me before this incident. So I just chalked it up to awkwardness since we were basically strangers. Also, as a mini update, I did talk to my dad and brothers. My dad was angry and shocked. My brothers were livid. I told them everything and showed them the screenshots on the messages. My dad hugged me and apologized that I had to go through this. My brothers wanted to come home immediately and confront Ashley, but my dad told them all to calm down. He said he wanted to talk to Melissa first and he and Melissa can talk to Ashley tomorrow, but he promised that we will all definitely sit down and talk about this. I have a feeling things are going to get messy when they talk with Ashley tomorrow. So, wish me luck." Now, it sounds like things are already going to be handled with your dad and your brothers, and that would have been my first suggestion is, talk to them about it first, get them involved with what's going on. But just casting back to the very end there where you've got friends and cousins who's bombarding you with messages calling you a spoiled, selfish kid, I always question what they've actually been told. Do you think they've actually been told the truth in the situation? I doubt it very, very much. If Ashley came up to me and told me what was going on, the truth in this situation, I would say, Ashley, you're the one who's totally in the wrong here. But a commenter says to OP, not the arsehole, Why is your stepsister so concerned with having a good relationship with your brothers but not you? I find that behavior so weird. I don't like to jump to conclusions, but this need to get along with your brothers and being jealous of the relationship you have with them screams insecure to me. She's practically a stranger to all of you. Over time, the relationship between all of you should naturally develop, but she can't be expected to be treated like a sister already, especially when she is so cold towards you. I'm pretty sure your brothers pick up on that, and it'll only make them like her less. Your stepsis needs to back way off. I don't even want to start with the fact that she tried to cuddle with your brothers. That's a whole other story. Another commenter says, what the hell is wrong with Ashley? She's acting weird and low-key creepy. Your brothers don't owe her any affection or gifts. Being jealous of their affection for you is weird. Trying to bond with your adult stepbrothers by cuddling them is weird. Crying on your birthday and demanding that your brothers ditch you for her is weird. Sounds like she's trying to take your place in your sibling dynamic. Or weirder, she has crushes on your brother and is jealous they're not paying attention to her. Whichever is still bad. So OP came back into the post with an update and said, hello, thank you everyone who has commented and messaged me. Your suggestions and advice is really appreciated. I did post it in the comments, but for those who didn't see it, I did tell my brothers and father about what Ashley did, and my father said he would talk to Melissa first, and then they would talk to Ashley the next day. The day after I told my dad, we all had a talk. Contrary to what we all thought, Ashley didn't even deny it. She just basically repeated what she told me. She sounds like a broken record at this point. My dad told her while he understands that she might feel excluded because my brothers and I were so close, demanding that I spend less time with my brothers and bullying me through her friends and relatives was so wrong. Melissa started talking, apologizing for what Ashley did. She said she knows it's wrong, but she was hoping that we all could forgive her because she's just having a hard time with the changes in her life. Michael pointed out that they did want a good relationship with her at first, but if this is how she was going to treat me, she could just forget it. All my brothers opened up about how they were so uncomfortable with her trying to be so touchy with them. My father suggested therapy, but Ashley refused and started screaming. At this point, I think my father had enough and said that she should go to therapy and work out her issues or she wouldn't be living in this house. That shut us all up. Melissa asked my dad if he was serious and he said yes. He said he loved her and he was concerned about Ashley, but he won't allow his daughter to be bullied in his own house. Ashley looked really shocked. She would be going to a local college and she planned to stay at home so she could save rent, so this must have bothered her a lot. She started blaming me and started to walk towards me and try to grab me, but all my brothers got between us. John coldly told her that while our father was trying to be kind, that he would do no such thing, and if he touched me, he would throw her in jail faster than she could blink. He's a lawyer, so Ashley knows that this was not an empty threat. So backed off and walked to her room and slammed the door. The next day, Ashley went to therapy. I don't know if Melissa forced her or if she just didn't want to be kicked out. But oh well, at least she's going. She's been ignoring us the past few days, which is completely fine with me. As for my brothers, the day Ashley started therapy, she also started texting them, playing the pity card, but they all blocked her. As for me, I'm doing very well. This whole fiasco kinda made us all forget I'm going away to college in a few days, and now my father and brothers are kinda acting frantic and in mother hen modes. Lol. I don't know if this was the update you all expected. This is a very summarized version, and if you have more questions, I'll be happy to answer them in the comments. Thank you all so much. And we have another update to this in a moment, but one commenter said to OP, thanks for the update. Her behavior is very disturbing. She sounds like she might be a narcissist. I'll read up on them. They are destructive and dangerous. Commenter 2 says, I honestly don't think this will end well. She does not want to fix things. She's only going to therapy because she is forced to, not because she sees that her behavior is wrong. Sooner or later, she will explode against you for stealing her family. Your father and siblings are on your side, and that is the important thing. Although your father is dragging out the divorce because he knows there is no solution. So, OP's latest post in this saga of things was titled, Am I the arsehole for getting my stepsister arrested after she stole my earrings? It says, for context, I 18 female and the youngest of 3 siblings. I have 3 brothers, 28 male, 27 and 25, and our mum passed away when I was 8. Last year, my dad, 53, married Melissa, 45, and she had a daughter from a previous marriage. Ashley, 18, came to live with my dad and me. Barely a month ago, I actually made a post here because Ashley was hysterically forcing me to stop hanging out with my brothers because she wanted them to pay more attention to her. She blames me for everything and repeatedly told me that I was preventing her from bonding with my brothers. We all sat down and talked. Ashley went to therapy and I went to college, but I know she still despises me. Now to the current issue. A little bit over a month ago, I turned 18. My maternal grandparents gave me a family heirloom. It was a pair of diamond earrings. It used to belong to my mother, but since she was unable to give it to me, my grandmother held on to it until my 18th birthday. I kept it locked in a drawer in my room. Yesterday, Ashley and Melissa went to a wedding. I knew because Melissa made a Facebook post. I didn't think much of it, but in one of her posts, I saw Ashley wearing a pair of very familiar earrings. I know it's bad to accuse people without proof, but I just immediately knew that those were my earrings. I called my dad and my brothers and informed them and went home. I called Melissa and told her about the situation, but she didn't quite believe me because Ashley had told her that she borrowed the earrings from one of her friends. When I got home, I saw that the drawer had been busted open and my earrings were gone. We checked the security camera in the hallway. I had one installed because of previous events, and it did show Ashley going into my room and then coming out a few minutes later. I was a bit frantic. My dad called Ashley and demanded that she return my earrings. She denied it at first, but when he told her that we had video footage, she began to get defensive, saying that she just borrowed them and that I wasn't using them anyway. She then blocked my dad and Melissa wasn't answering her phone either. I was debating whether to go to the wedding that instant, when my brothers, who were quite fed up with Ashley at this point, told me that we should go to the police station and file a report for theft. I was quite reluctant at first, but then I remembered that those earrings were something my mother had left for me, and she had taken it without asking permission. We went to the station and filed a report and showed them the security footage. This morning, Ashley was taken to the police station for questioning. Ashley and Melissa are still at the station, and I've been getting calls and texts from her relatives that I was dramatic and that I shamed their family because a lot of guests who were staying at the hotel saw the police officers. This just feels like one of those situations where it's going to escalate and escalate until both Melissa and Ashley are completely out of the house. It sounds like Melissa's going to keep defending her daughter in some way, and it's going to come between dad and her as well. Especially with police involved, Melissa will probably defend Ashley and everything's just going to go downhill. That's kind of the way it feels to me at this moment in time anyway. But the first commenter said to OP after that one, not the arsehole. Ashley is a nightmare and needs to learn that there are consequences for theft. She stole from you. Tell any relatives that say you shamed the family by reporting the theft that Ashley shamed the family by being a common thief. Tell them once and then block all communication. You should have a serious talk with dad about whether or not he is going to allow Ashley to remain in the family home. Don't get talked into dropping charges. Please update when this concludes. I'm sorry that you're going through this. Commenter 2 says, not the arsehole. How else were you supposed to resolve the issue when Ashley was blocking people and Melissa wasn't answering her phone? Ashley is a thief, and it didn't sound like she or her mother were in a hurry to give back your earrings. Let's not forget that Ashley literally broke a drawer to get your earrings. You at least have the earrings now. With Ashley's behavior, it's easier to believe those earrings would have ended up missing and you would have never got them back without involving law enforcement. And the last commenter says, not the arsehole. She broke into a locked drawer to take them, lied about it, and then blocked the calls. She stole from you something that was very important sentimentally. She is now experiencing the consequences of those actions. Maybe she will learn something from it, but no matter what, you have clearly defined your boundaries, which is important. Don't let anyone guilt trip you about this. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. And our next story, we're going to move over to the entitled People subreddit from GameNerd93, who said, my small town is fighting over Chinese food. This is entitled People on the Large Scale, and it's too hilarious not to share. I live in a small town, population 7,000 roughly, and everyone is currently divided over a Chinese restaurant. It's been in the local news and Australia's national news, and that's how crazy people are getting. I'm going to try and keep this short. Back in May of this year, a local Chinese restaurant owner informed the local club he was renting kitchen space from that he wanted to retire and gave them his resignation, stating his last operating day would be the end of June. Cue the local Karens and Kevins in mass. One local, who we'll call Big Kevin, teamed up with another local we will call Mega Karen, and they decided they were going to protest against the closing and force the club to keep the restaurant open. This poor man has been running the restaurant for 30 years without break and just wanted to retire peacefully. But no, Mega Karen started a petition while Big Kevin organized a protest. Now our third major player in this we shall call the Wicked Witch. The Wicked Witch, working in the shadows, starts leaking to the local paper that said restaurant owner is being forced out by the club. False allegation. The club gives their first and only statement about the situation, stating that the restaurant owner retired and even produced his retirement paperwork for proof. At this point, the national news comes into it and does an interview with the restaurant owner, who states on the news that he wants to retire. You would think that would be the end of it, but no. Mega Karen gets 1,200 or so signatures on her petition, which she hands to the club. The club's lawyer calls it invalid due to over 900 of the signatures not being filled in properly. Signature plus printed name plus club membership number or phone number needed by each person to make it valid, or same person sign multiple petition slots. So Mega Karen starts a new petition which only gets 74 signatures. Meanwhile, Big Kevin organizes a protest. He doesn't show up for, nor does anyone else. The club then hosts a meeting for all club members of the general public and the club's board to discuss what is going on. But again, for all the complaints, no one shows up. Now Mega Karen and Big Kevin are demanding that a new meeting be held, the club's general manager be fired and the club's board be disbanded and a new board elected. The Wicked Witch then once again goes to the newspaper with a statement from the restaurant owner. The restaurant has now been closed for over a month and states now that the club has been renovated, the restaurant has plans to start a new restaurant. They, the old restaurant, would consider renting the space again. Before you question why the space wasn't renovated before this point, it was part of the Chinese restaurant's agreement that they would maintain and renovate the space as they saw fit, as stated by the club in their public statement. And she tells the paper that the whole reason the Chinese restaurant left wasn't because they wanted to retire, but because their rent increased from $285 a week they have paid for 28 years to $385 a week last year, and then $485 a week this year for a restaurant space when other local restaurants are paying $2,500 a week for the same or smaller spaces. So Big Kevin, Mega Karen, and a ton of other locals were all shocked at the cost of the rent, which they're all now saying should have been kept at the $285 to encourage the restaurant to stay, even though it meant likely closing the club since they were struggling to afford running costs. The club even broke down their running costs to show the members and locals how expensive it is to keep the place open, but still not good enough. I can't with this town anymore. The first comment on this one from Sesame, who says, so many people craving for a succulent Chinese meal, it seems. A meal? A succulent Chinese meal? Opie says, there is a second Chinese restaurant in town which makes this even funnier. Particular Bar says, every small town needs 2 Chinese restaurants. The good one, plus the one nobody goes to. Skull and Roses says, absolutely ridiculous. Poor old guy can't just retire in peace. Must have been some really good Chinese food though. Opie says it was really good, but the last couple of years has been a bit hit or miss. The owner was trying to get someone else to take over, but it always led to complaints that it wasn't good enough. Skull and Roses reply saying, I'll just be done with it too at that point. People are crazy, lol. Like, you want to keep it open but then say it's not good enough? You can't force this man to work till he dies. And then what happens if he does pass? So Opie comes in 3 weeks later and says, so our Big Kevin, if you remember from the original post, had organised a protest he didn't show up to. Well, ladies, gentlemen and thems, has now organised a meeting for October 31st for all paying members of the club. Taken directly from the posters around town and his Facebook post. This meeting is to discuss the removal of the president and board of directors and elect an interim board to move forward, with the plans to reinstate Danny's Kitchen to catering. I can't with these people, honestly. When this meeting takes place, the new restaurant will be open in the club. All cards on the table, I do have a job in a new kitchen, so I'll be the first to admit I could be looking at this with bias. However, the owner of Danny's did retire, and I don't think a vote overturns retirement. If they got enough votes, then I suppose an offer could be made to him, but he can't be forced back. I also found out the owner tried to train multiple people to take over, but every time the same people complain and now putting complaints to the club about the quality of the food. No way to please these people, honestly. The club's general manager is hoping that once a new restaurant opens, people will enjoy the food and move on from Danny's. But for now, I'll update you again neither on the night of the 31st or on 1st of November of what happens with this meeting. Emax says first order of business, Kevin quitting his current job to work full-time as the Chinese restaurant chef. OP says great news, Kevin has no job so is available for the position. Emax says when he quits the chef position due to stress, the board can vote him right back in again. Eastad says, so he's calling the meeting for October 31st. I wonder if people have any plans for that day already. Maybe some spooky plans. Maybe plans with candy. Maybe a plan to dress up. If anyone has a Grim Reaper costume, it might make for a moment. OP says, I'm counting on it ruining his plans. My partner, who also works at the club and is working the door on that day, has been given full permission to dress as a clown. I can't wait for that update. But now, what do you guys make of this situation? Imagine trying to force that guy back in. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. It's just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.